Hi there, this is Danny Flexen for Seconds Out with a bit of breaking news. It was earlier this week, I think, when I first started hearing rumours of Floyd Mayweather making his latest comeback and his latest escapade, I think it's fair to say, against YouTube star Logan Paul. But now it seems to be becoming more credible. There's been a few reports from different sources on social media that there's been viewings of signed contracts between the pair. Now, this could just be a rumor. People are bored during the ongoing restrictions after the pandemic, boxing fans especially, as they're still not allowed into shows on either side of the Atlantic. But there could be some, fire to the smoke, because we can expect something like this from Mayweather. We haven't seen him since nearly 2 years ago now, when he fought an exhibition fight against a Japanese kickboxer in Tenshin Nasukawa, and gradually broke him down almost effortlessly, it seems, and banked a nice chunk of change in the process. And since then, there's been rumours of him coming back against various people, very few of which have been, equally matched boxers to him, usually MMA fighters, other retired fighters, that kind of thing. I think he recognises that he can still make a fair bit of cash out of the boxing business, and that there'll always be an appetite, or at least for the next few years, in seeing Floyd Mayweather back in that squared circle. But he's obviously been looking as well at the growing YouTube boxing craze, of which Logan Paul has been at its epicenter. He obviously officially turned pro for the rematch with KSI, having drawn the first fight between the two that was contested pretty much under amateur rules or unlicensed rules in Manchester. The rematch in LA took place as pros. They both passed their medicals, got pro licenses out, fought with the smaller gloves, no head guards. And this time, KSI, I'm not sure who that is, KSI won a contentious decision. So Logan Paul is not only officially a professional boxer now, he's also a losing one. He's 0-1 against Floyd Mayweather, who has had over 50 fights now, unbeaten, best fighter of his generation. So on paper, it's a mismatch. In the ring, it would be a mismatch. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And in any year that it was going to take place, surely 2020, the year when everything seems to be going haywire, is the one where it can happen. We already know that Mike Tyson, heavyweight legend, 53 years old now, is going to be fighting, it seems, Roy Jones Jr., I think in either November or December. That was postponed from earlier in the year, in an exhibition fight. So if that can happen, obviously they're both proper fighters, Roy Jones a legend in his own right, then why can't Mayweather-Logan Paul happen? Yes, they're massively different weights. Floyd Mayweather, when we last saw him, was a welterweight. Logan Paul, in the fight with KSI, came in over 200 pounds, so close to the cruiserweight limit. So that will have to be discussed. But you would think Mayweather, even if he let himself blow up to anywhere near cruiserweight, would beat Logan Paul. And equally, if they met with a 40-pound discrepancy, which, it wouldn't be a professional fight in that case, it wouldn't be licensed by any respectable governing body with that discrepancy. But if they did do that, you'd still favour Mayweather's come out well on top. It's the sort of fight where in the ring, Mayweather could win pretty much any time he chooses. And I'm in the camp, like a lot of people, that believe he carried Conor McGregor to an extent in their crossover fight that drew a huge amount of money. And a lot of people, MMA fans predominantly, still claim that McGregor had a lot of success in that fight. And I can't argue that he had some success, but it's how much of that was allowed by Mayweather and how much of it was forced by McGregor. He could do something similar with Paul, although in a boxing match, you'd favour Conor McGregor to easily take care of Logan Paul. But having said that, it's commercially driven, as most things are in boxing these days. And Floyd Mayweather, for everything else, master boxer, charismatic enigma, is also a shrewd businessman. And he knows how to make money, and he knows how to take people from other combat avenues, so whether it's YouTube boxing, MMA, kickboxing, and incorporate them into his world and convert that into dollars and cents. The old saying, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. And I think Mayweather knows that. Logan Paul, for all the criticism of, bringing boxing into disrepute from some of the naysayers, has made a lot of money and increased his profile, which was already massive, even further by the fights against KSI. He'll be looking to develop that further and branch out his brand, if you like, to another realm. And boxing was the one that, he was on last time. He was on a show where he headlined over established world champions like Devin Haney, Billy Joe Saunders. And the next logical step for him is going up against the most high-profile boxer of his generation. and that's Floyd Mayweather. I can't see many people taking it seriously as a sporting contest, obviously not, but just the event feel of seeing this hugely famous, outclassed, of course, YouTuber going up against Mayweather, and just what can he do? Can he survive a round? Can he take a clean shot? Will he look even close to being credible? It all seemed like no's to me on all three scores, but we don't know for certain, and I guess that's the intrigue. That's the factor that's going to draw people in. And I have no doubt that if these rumours are true, it will make a huge amount of money. And they're talking about it taking place before the end of the year. So if I was Tyson and Jones and the promoters behind that show, I'd be a little bit worried, because I think if any kind of crossover, enigma event, kind of freak event, if you want to call it that, sideshow event, is going to take precedence this year, then Mayweather Logan Paul will beat absolutely everything, and will beat a lot of, in terms of viewing figures, attention generated, will beat the vast majority, if not all, legitimate boxing contests as well. And although hardcore fans will frown at that and they'll be very disappointed, as I am on some levels, there's no denying the commercial viability of such a contest, if you can even call it a contest. So yeah, we wait to see how this breaking news story continues to develop. Stay tuned to Seconds Out, and we will keep you informed. Really appreciate your time, and I'll see you all soon.